Morning, everybody. Rusty from the Rusty Razor. Got another shave today. Today we're going to be using Crowne and Crane's. How do you pronounce this? Palloncino? I think it's Palloncino. Something like that. Got this from Matthew Lawrence. So, looks like he used it maybe once out of the whole thing. Maybe twice. It, Crowne and Crane. Obviously, I got a lot of Crowne and Crane on the shelf up there. Or on the hanging from the door. But yeah, it's kind of interesting. The newer Crowne and Cranes, they have the on the label. I checked and it doesn't look like Crowne and Crane is doing any business right now. So yeah, probably write them off. We got hints of wood and musk, which is kind of like amber woods. Like they took part of the amber woods. Iris, Sicilian lemons, bergamot, and sprinkling of finely ground sea salt, which makes it probably going to be kind of slick with that. Sea salt does that. But I digress. All right, so Matthew Lawrence asked, do you want any Crowne and Crane stuff? And I was like, yeah, okay, yeah, sure. And he says, I already had my address because he sent me stuff before. And the next thing you know, yesterday in the mail, I get this. And then I get cognac and Cubans. Got that. Another tub of, the newer tub of amber woods, which, that one's about quarter left. So, hey, it's about time. And then we got smoky briar. And then tobacco and caramel, or caramel, however you want to pronounce it. I just watched a video this morning. It's like a Brit saying, how do you pronounce this? Is it caramel or caramel? Well, we call it caramel, but depends on where it's like with hints of caramel in it. It's like if you're talking about a candy bar type of thing, like the nougat and caramel. Milky Way. All right, so then we're going to be using the first use of the Wizamet blades with the Edwin Jagger razor. And then we're going to follow, I just decided this Old Spice. What the heck? I wanted something I like a lot with this shave. So, there you go. Lots of yapping. All right, how's your day going? Oh, my fingertips hurt. I'll tell you why my fingertips hurt in a second, but once we get this shave going, my back kind of hurts too. Like I didn't sleep very well last night. Somehow in the middle of the night, it's like I keep a couple of very large pillows underneath my. When I sleep on my back now due to my since my surgery. Because the doctor said, do not twist, do not do anything like that. If you sleep, sleep on your back with something under your legs. Okay, I'm still doing it. It's been 10 months since my surgery, and sometime during the night, I must have kicked the stuff off. And then I rolled and slept on my side, and I woke up and went, oh my God! Like my whole back is just stiff as hell. Like, not too smart. Oh man, this is a sharp blade. You can just feel it wicking the fur right off already. First use of the Wizamet. Typically though, when I use a Wizamet the first time, I like to use it in like my more mild razors. Especially like the Kingsley Gillette or my Crisp. You get some blades where, like those Dorcas, that you use them once and it feels like it's tugging already. And it's like, no man, it's just this like hot knife through butter feeling. Oh, that's still kind of sore. My neck. Man, it's been over a week since I used that B1 Lancer, and my neck is still sore. And you're going to think, okay, why are your fingertips hurting? Well, my hobby slash kind of a side business that I do is I'm a commissioned painter. I paint miniatures for wargaming. That's what I do. Where I make my money. And I'm assembling a bunch of miniatures. And they're made out of resin. And so you clean them up and everything. And you use like an X-Acto knife. And you just like trim the little flashing and everything off. Make them nice and neat and all that stuff. And sometimes I poke myself with the X-Acto knife, which, you know, usually it's my thumb. It's like when you're scraping stuff with it, and you're kind of using it like a razor blade. You know, it's like, and sometimes you catch your thumb a little bit, and you get like a paper cut, which I can accept that. That's no big deal. But so I'm gluing all these miniatures together, and every once in a while, you glue yourself to the freaking miniature. You're sitting there holding it in place, and all of a sudden you go let go, and you're like, ah, dang it. So you gotta sit there and peel the miniature off your fingers, and it makes it sore. And then your fingers are all covered in super glue that dries on it, and like yesterday, I worked all day gluing stuff together, and my fingers were covered in super glue. And got done with eating dinner, and I started washing the dishes. You know, my wife usually says we'll wash the dishes after dinner, and I was like, well, you fix all the meal. Yesterday, it really didn't work too hard. It's like I made ham and bean soup, you know, which is like a 2-day event type of thing. Got to soak the beans the previous day, and then put the meal together early in the morning. You know, by 8, 9 o'clock in the morning, and then let it cook for like 8 hours, because, you know, I use northern beans, and it takes a while for them to, you know, go from dry to, you know, fully cooked type of thing. I like cooking because I like flavor. So I left my wife to be able to cook. Everything would be out of a box. That's her form of cooking. And so I was like, oh, I'm going to do the dishes. And you're like, well, I'll do them. No, nope. I'm doing the dishes, because in the process of doing the dishes, your fingers kind of soak, and then the super glue comes off them. But my fingertips across the whole top, and both of my fingers are like sore. Because you're kind of, when you're pulling the stuff off, it takes a little bit of the epidermis off, man. It's kind of the same feeling my face has after using that B1 Lancer. I've alluded to it before, where, you know, I got a lot of hobbies. Where keep myself busy. My wife is like, you got too many hobbies. You always got everything around here. That's like, it's like, do you ever use any of this stuff? Like, yeah. It's like, it's a hobby, you know. It's like any hobby, you don't necessarily want to do it every day, but you enjoy when you do it, you know, type of deal. And it was It's like, I asked my wife, I was like, what's your hobby? I don't have any. Say, that's part of the problem. Which I watched a video this morning, which was kind of hilarious. The husband, he's like, hey, honey, where's my saw at? I hit it. Why'd you hit it? Because you wouldn't be around. I don't want you around. It's like, you're causing me problems. It's like, with having you around. It's like, I say this lovingly. Like, okay, all right. And like, so what you're trying to say is, I've worked we've been married 30 years. And I've worked my ass off for 30 years. You know what? It's coming to the point where I'm going to retire. I'm going to be around a lot. Go find something to do. No. Like, you can't be around. It's like, hey, I say this with love. Go get a hobby. It's true. My wife's like, this whole basement is yours. Everything down here is like, this is my office. This is where I work. I'm not a conventional 9 to 5 or 8 to 4 type of guy. I don't have a job like that anymore. I used to. But after my broke my back, I had to figure out what to do, and I ended up just transferring one of my hobbies into making money. It's like, well, making really good money. There was a time I was making, it was like maybe $2,000 a month just doing a job, and then 20 hit. And then after that, my income went into the basement. So it's like it seemed like people realized, hey, I can do this. It's like, got all this free time now. I'm not working, so they just started to learn how to do things. So yeah. So kind of puts a damper on things, but my wife, she still works. Mostly because of me with the healthcare we needed, but everything, but it is what it is. Man, smooth. Very smooth. But I always say, if you want to have an interesting life, get yourself a few hobbies. Get out of your wife or husband's hair type of thing. I just gave up on one of my hobbies. I used to restore cars. That was, if you want to talk about an expensive hobby, restore a car. Like hunting down parts or spending money for, like, I always did Cougars, Mercury Cougars, 67 through 70. That was my years. I always loved those cars, man. They were so, but I just recently sold my 69 Cougar, the last one I was restoring, and mostly because, I come to the realization that with my back the way it is, and it just hurts just bending over and doing that kind of work anymore. It's like, will I be actually doing that? Well, that's time for the stuff to go. So I sold the car. One hobby I haven't done in a while. I do have a minor in art, which I use every day when I'm, doing my business. I paint stuff for people. Just last night, I had 2 people asking me questions that, I paint stuff for them every once in a while, and they're asked me a ton of questions because they're thinking about, painting their own stuff, and so, like, what color should I use here? And it's like, well, that's part of the hard problem, figuring out a paint scheme that you want to use. Do you want contrasting colors, complementary colors? And I send them pictures, of a color wheel, which shows, it's a wheel with all the different spectrum of the rainbow. And so I asked them tons of questions, and eventually they just quit asking questions because I think I overwhelmed them. But it's the stuff that goes through my head every time I look at it. I'm going to paint something new. I need a new color scheme. So I just ask the questions and that go through my head when I'm doing things, and they and I tell them how I would do it. It's like, all right, I think I want this color to this color. What would I do? And they're like, oh, this is the steps I would go through. And then they said, what about doing this? And then this is the steps I would go through to do this. One guy is like, will you paint this stuff for me? Like, yeah, I can paint it, no problem. Just bring it to me, I'll do it. Cost you money, but Yeah, there's one time I painted a bunch of stuff up for myself, and decided I was gonna sell some of it. Or sell the army, because it's like not playing this army anymore. And guy says, I'll give you $150, and I'll just strip them because I don't like that color scheme. And I was like, and he responded like, you know who Rembrandt is? Yeah, he's an artist. So you're trying to say is that you want to take the Rembrandt that's painted, strip it down so you can use the canvas. He just kind of looked at me going, yeah, no. You're going to pay this this is how much it's going to cost you. If you want it, pay me this much for it, because that's one thing that drives me nuts. Is you see like an eBay, because every once in a while, when business is slow, I'll paint stuff and put it up on eBay. And I see crap on there. It's like somebody looked like they're 5 years old and put some color of paint on it and then call it pro painted. And I was like, no, that's not pro painted. It's painted by a freaking monkey, maybe. But if that monkey would be considered a pro painter. Oh, yeah. Right there. How the heck did I miss that? You get a yapping and you forget what you're doing. There we go. So, yeah. What a mess. Water everywhere. All right. Just a little Old Spice. Now, one thing about this soap, it still has aspects of the amber woods that, like they took amber woods and add more citrus to it. and a little bit more floral. Definitely smell orange coming out of this. Orange and cedar. Yeah, I like it. Old Spice. There we go. All right, so that's the shave of the day. That was Palloncino, something like that. From Crowne and Crane. Nice little soap. Got the job done. Smooth shave. First use of the Wizamet blades with the Edwin Jagger razor. Worked pretty good. Ooh. Dropped that. Almost dropped it in the water. Alright, so that's shaved, everybody. Hope you guys like it. Like and subscribe, share with a friend, and we'll see you next one. Rusty out.